This is Audible.
Audible Originals presents The Tempest Blade, written by Danielle L. Jensen, performed by Max Roll, Summer Morton, Lauren Fortgang, Summer Roberts, J.F. Harding, and Sean Masters. Portions of this audiobook contain mature language and themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Three sets of eyes on her at all times. James growled at his men. This woman might well be the most dangerous individual you come across in your lifetimes. Keep her gagged. Keep her chained. And for the love of God, keep your fucking wits about you. Yes, sir, his lieutenant responded. But then his eyes slid to the prisoner. How do you wish us to handle requests for privacy? She is a princess, and propriety demands... What do you value more, propriety or keeping your throat intact? Because I assure you, if you turn your back on this woman, you will regret it. James gestured sharply to Hazel, who stepped forward, her expression frosty, as it had been since the moment the young maid had joined his company. Hazel will ensure proper conduct. But when I say 3 sets of eyes on her at all times, I mean at all times. Am I clear? Yes, sir. The men saluted sharply, and Hazel gave a tight nod, but James's attention was all for the prisoner on her knees before him. Azure eyes tracked him, cold as ice. James knelt before Princess Bronwyn Valiant, and met her stare for stare. To reiterate, Your Highness, you are being released not because I believe you are innocent, but out of a courtesy to Queen Sahina, with whom Herondel has no quarrel. We'll see how long that lasts. Bronwyn did not so much as blink, yet James resisted the urge to reach for his sword hilt, every instinct screaming, danger. This woman had the same training as her sister Lara, which meant she'd spent most of her lifetime under the tutelage of the Magpie and his minions. Bronwyn was a killer to her core, and her dead-eyed stare promised that the moment she got her hands on a blade, it would have his name on it. Except there were many people who felt the same way about him, so she could get in line. You will be delivered to Northwatch, James continued. You will relay a message to Ithacana's king, that he is to immediately turn over his sister for execution for the murder of King Edward and the attempted murder of Queen Alexandra. Should he comply, and should we discover proof Anna acted of her own accord, Herondel will reconsider its plans to retaliate against both Ithacana and its crown. Should Arryn refuse, the full might of Herondel's military will descend upon Ithacana's shores, and you might remind Arryn that we know all the ways in. That is the consequence of Ithacana's choice to betray its oldest ally. He pulled out Bronwyn's gag. Am I understood? Her voice was hoarse as she asked, And if Anna is not in Ithacana? It is my understanding that Lara maintains Ithacana's spy network. A spy network unrivaled by any other nation. I suggest she put it to good use and find Anna before it's too late. James smiled, knowing full well it did not reach his eyes. I'm sure Ithacana's queen will give no argument. Anna is hardly a friend to Lara, and has caused her no end of grief. If Ithacana is innocent of the princess's crimes, then they no doubt wish to be rid of her. See it done, Your Highness. You've your own interests to protect. The coldness in Bronwyn's gaze transformed into rage. If you lay a finger on Taryn, I'll... James shoved the gag back in her mouth, cutting off the inevitable threat. Taryn will be treated as a lady, right up to the point she is recast as a prisoner of war. He stared Bronwyn down. Deliver Anna to us, so that we can punish her for her crimes. It's in everyone's best interest. Rising, James exited the ship's brig, the heavy clang of steel